Not on my watch. Captain Bird will know for sure, though. We all report to him. Take your time. Not now. What a dumb... I won't fight. Gracious. What a hero. I can't argue. That's just... Don't talk such... I won't fight. My life. That's just not funny. Don't try to manipulate me. Bye.
Hello, I'm Captain Bird, commander of the Bruma Guard. I make sure my guards treat the local Nords and their ways with respect. I heard that some cult called the Mythic Dawn is behind the Emperor's assassination. Except for Gerald coming back from a trip down south, things are pretty quiet. Not much travel right now with the Oblivion crisis. I've told my men to keep a sharp eye out, but I've had no reports of any strangers in town. What about you? Turned up anything suspicious? God's blood! So she was the spy? Seems there's no one you can trust these days. Since you're working with Cloud Ruler Temple, I'm going to authorize you to search Gerald's house. I'll pass the word to my men. We won't interfere. I trust that you'll handle things appropriately. The less I know about it, the better. Good day.
What can I do for you, sir? Bye. Hi there.
Well met. Do you enjoy spending time at Olaf's Tap and Tack? Olaf makes every... I'm sorry. You must speak to Countess Carvane for any further information. How about that?
It's a pleasure to see you. I've heard much about your deeds from my people in Bruma. I trust the stipend Tolgan gave you whetted your appetite. Good point. Allow me to formally introduce myself. I'm Countess Nerina Carvane. I assume you've noticed all the Akaviri relics I'm displaying. Well, it's safe to say I'm a collector of sorts. I've invested a great deal of time and money acquiring these bits of ancient history. In fact, I'd be so bold as to proclaim my collection the most complete in all Cyrodiil, perhaps even beyond. Except for one thing. A particular relic has eluded me for many years. Possessing this piece of Akaviri antiquity would make my collection complete. I'm of course referring to the Draconian Madstone. Some see only the conflicts between northern and southern cultures, but I see the way they are stronger when woven together. I've been looking for just the right owner for a special home I have. It's a quaint little house conveniently located just off the main gate. Wonderful. I'll have the deed transferred to you. Here is your key to the door. As I said, it's located right by the main gate. I've had a look at the place myself, and it could use some furnishings inside. Quite barren in there, I'm afraid. I'm fairly certain that Suratan at Nova Roma here in Bruma can acquire the things you'll need to make it look like home. He served Emperor Uriel for many years, and so far he has done well in an impossible situation. They say Eleanor on Somerset Isle is more beautiful. I've never been. For the present, I must count the Imperial City the most glorious in Tamriel. Not that I can think of. People are mostly staying home, what with all the troubles in the world. The stone is a fine bit of Akaviri craftsmanship. Worn like an amulet, this talisman is said to protect the wearer from poisons of any type. The Madstone appears as a snake coiled around and encircling itself. The eyes of the snake are supposed to be precious gems or some such. Through my sources, I've learned that the last reported location of the Madstone was the ruins at Pale Pass. Are you familiar with the history of Pale Pass? Back at the end of the First Era, raiders from the continent of Akavir attempted to gain a foothold here in Tamriel. At that time, the Empire was broken into smaller factions. Raymond Cyrodiil decided to unify them and form an army to repel the Akaviri raiders. The force became known as the Army of Raymond. The two armies clashed in what's now northern Cyrodiil. The Akaviri were strong and well supplied. But their greatest error was marching through Morrowind on the way to their objective and dismissing the response it would garner from Vivek. They didn't count on Lord Vivek forming an alliance with the Trident Kings of the Dreg. From Morrowind he struck at their rear flank. Not only did this make the Akaviri fight on two fronts, it also cut off access to reinforcements and supplies from the sea. Not quite. The army of Raymond knew that the organized Akaviri forces were commanded from a hidden post in the mountains. Rumors placed it in a snowy vale called Pale Pass. That's where Raymond focused his attention. As his forces fought their way across the Gerald Mountains, the Akaviri suddenly surrendered. It was assumed they were overwhelmed and gave up. The only strange part was that the command post and Pale Pass were never found. It was dismissed as a rumour, and the army of Raymond celebrated. It's come to my attention that the post did exist, and it happens to be the last reported location of the Draconian Madstone. If you retrieve the Draconian Madstone for me, I'll be happy to compensate you by rewarding you with another Akaviri artifact. Are you game? I had a feeling you'd accept. Good. Then let me tell you how you're going to find the Madstone. I've come into the possession of a diary, written by an Akaviri messenger. I suspect that the text within can lead you to the ruins. Here's a translation of the passages we could still read. It was quite damaged. I've also included a rough map that was drawn in the diary as well. I'm also providing you with a unique key that was supposedly found with the diary. I'm assuming it'll prove useful when you arrive at the site. I paid several scouts to try and find the ruins at Pale Pass before I hired you. They were only able to locate the first of a series of landmarks. These landmarks are mentioned within the diary. The one referred to as Dragonclaw Rock has been located. I'll mark it on your map. The rest is up to you. My scouts reported bitter cold and dangerous creatures in the area, so they couldn't proceed. Be cautious and return home soon. Good luck. The messenger's diary will make a nice companion to the Madstone in my collection. The Madstone awaits, and so does your reward if you retrieve it. May the path ahead be free of danger.
I'm sorry. You must speak to Count...
Someone needs to get Skjorta under control. You'd think Olfar would...
Look at the muscles on you. Edla Darkheart. If you want to be a marksman, I can train you. If you can breathe, I can teach you. One place is pretty much like another. Regner hates it, but Regner hates everything. I overheard a guard mention the Countess is looking for a piece to add to her collection. I can show you some new things. Good that you want to get better. I can show you some new things. Pay attention and you can learn a lot. I can show you some new things. Goodbye. Skjorta, Nordwinds. We've got clothes and armor, and I've got a headache. So keep your voice down, please. We drink because we're happy. We're Nords. It's just the thick tongue and fat head the day after that makes me unhappy. Poor Arnora. Seems her boyfriend Jorundur has stolen some gold from her and left her penniless. Now he's in jail, and she's destitute. Arnora and Jorundur were once a happy couple, but that's over now. I hear he took all of their money and stashed it after he committed a robbery. He was going to skip town on Arnora, but got arrested before making good on his escape. Now she has no money left at all. Poor thing. I offer the finest goods and the lowest prices in all Cyrodiil. Goodbye.
I'm Ulfund, the light armor trainer. Skjorta and I run North Winds. Please excuse us. We had a little drink-up last night. Still a little muzzy. Just like Skyrim, except for all the tight-assed Heartlanders around. All work and chapel. No wonder they're so sour.